Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna. I just woke up. It's currently, let's see here. I woke up at 7 p.m. I'm not proud of it. This video will probably go up a little bit late, but you know what? I'm still going to upload because I want to stay consistent. But today's story time, I have a good one for you guys today. This is one of those stories that kind of reminds me of the old days on this channel. And I'm really excited to tell it. I hope you guys enjoy this story. If you do, leave a like, and let's just jump into it. So today's story time all starts off back in freshman year, ninth grade. This story time specifically takes place halfway through freshman year. So at this point, I was very used to being a freshman. I was very used to high school. I had a group of friends at this point that I knew pretty well. And I was definitely settled into high school. You know, it wasn't like some of those stories I've told where I was new to high school and I was nervous and kind of like, didn't really know what to do. Like this was when I was really settled in. And honestly, that was kind of a bad thing because when I settled into high school, I started being a real kind of not so good student, to say the least. So this all starts off like any other day. I got up out of bed, took a shower, got ready for school, jumped on the bus, went to school. You know how it goes. And for the first 3 classes of the day, everything was very normal. Everything was fine, good, I would say. But fourth period rolled around. This was right before lunchtime. And I don't know what got into me on this day. I really don't. But I started feeling really, really shitty. And I don't mean physically. I don't mean I was sick or I had a flu or something. I started feeling mentally really, really shitty. I just didn't want to be there. I got depressed. I got kind of just annoyed at the fact that I was in this big concrete building for the next, few hours. And really what I would think about a lot of the time in school, I would always have these thoughts of man, I could be home right now doing something way more important to me. That was always my thought process. I could be making YouTube videos, or I could be recording stuff, music stuff. I always just had these kind of thoughts, and it probably wasn't the healthiest to think that way because that meant I just wasn't paying attention. I was just thinking about what I was going to do when I got home instead of what I was doing in that moment in school. And if you ever get those thoughts in school, because I'm sure some of you do, oh man, I could be home doing this, I could be home doing that, that would be so much better than this. My advice would be just remember that school is temporary. There are many, many prime years after school of your life that you will have to work on whatever you want to work on outside of school. So try and remember that, because I didn't really tell myself that when I was in school, and that probably would have helped a little bit. So anyway, I was very, very depressed on this day, very, very not in the mood to be in school, bad headspace, I would say. And I really just wanted to go home and make YouTube videos and just do anything but school, right? So I decided, very, very much impulsively, that before my next period class, I was just going to leave school. I was going to say, fuck it. I was going to leave school and just skip and go home. Now, I had no plan. I had no, real direction of what I was going to do, but I just knew I wanted to leave. So that's what I did. Right before the next period class started, I went to my locker, I grabbed my backpack, I grabbed my things, and I started heading towards one of the exits. And one of my friends saw this. He saw that I had my backpack on and that I was walking towards one of the doors. And he walks up next to me and he's like, yo, are you skipping? What's going on? Because he knew. Because no one walked around with their backpack on at my school. Usually they'd put it in their lockers and then just take what they need for the day. So when he saw me with my backpack on, he knew I was going somewhere. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm skipping. He's like, shit, where are you going to go? And I was like, probably across the street, get some food, and then probably start walking home because I have a very long walk ahead of me, which was true. I lived miles from the school, so I was going to spend most of the day walking probably, but to me that was worth it. And this friend of mine, the one that was asking me about me skipping, he was kind of, also not a great student. And when he heard that I was skipping, I think he got a little bit inspired to join me. And he goes, yo, can I come with you? And I was like, if you want, sure. But if we get caught, don't blame me. And he's like, all right, yeah, no, I won't, bro. So he ran to his locker, grabbed his backpack, met back up with me, and then we both left the school together. And honestly, this kind of made me feel good because now I actually had someone to hang out with outside of school and just have someone to kick it with instead of just being alone with my depressing ass thoughts that day, right? So anyway, we walk out of the school, no problem. No one stops us. No one sees us. We just walk right out, start going across the street to this food spot, got there, had some food. And then after that, we started walking towards my house. Now, 10 minutes into the walk, he looks over at me and he's like, how far away do you live again? And I was like, I don't know, somewhere between 3 and 5 miles, I think. He's like, dude, it'll take us forever to get to your house, bro. We'll be walking all day. And I was like, yeah, I know. I didn't really think this through. He's like, dude, let's just go to my house. I live literally down the street. And I was like, are your parents home? He's like, no, dude, let's go. So we start walking towards his house. Now, we start walking towards his house. Everything's going good. Everything's going fine. We're just like chilling, having a conversation while we walk. And all of a sudden, from behind us, I hear someone yell. Yo, turn around. And it doesn't sound like an adult voice. It sounds like some kid that went to my school. And I turn around, and it's none other than a mutual friend of ours. We'll just call this dude Andrew, okay? Andrew, we both knew him. And me and my homie look at him. We're like, yo, what are you doing out here? He's like, man, I couldn't take that shit today. I just left. And I was like, oh, us too. He's like, Bet, can I kick it with y'all? And we're like, sure. So now we had this group of people that I didn't even really like anticipate having. Like I literally was essentially just expecting to skip by myself. And now I have my two friends with me. So anyway, we start walking back to our homie's house, me, Andrew, and my other friend. And about halfway through the walk, Andrew starts getting thirsty. He wants to like get a drink. And there was a gas station like right there. So we're like, all right, we'll go to the gas station. So we walk into the gas station. We start looking up and down the aisles for snacks and drinks and stuff, and Andrew's grabbing a drink. And, like, I'm looking for food. I'm looking for, like, chips and snacks and stuff, because I didn't eat lunch, because technically at this point in the day was my lunch period, and I was skipping it. So, like, as I was looking for snacks, you know, lunch was happening at my school. And I didn't take that into account, and I didn't realize that my teachers sometimes leave the school to go get lunch during the lunch hour. And while me and my friends are looking up and down the aisles for snacks and drinks, I hear the little bells chime on the door, like someone walks in, and I look up above the aisle. I like go on my tiptoes and I look, and I see none other than my history teacher. And immediately I get back down. I like walk around the aisle where my friends are, and I'm like, yo, our fucking history teacher's here, dude. He just walked in. And my one friend was like, which one is it? Which one? Because in our history class, we had like two teachers. We had like the main one, and then we had like a secondary one that would like walk around and help people with their work if they needed it. And one of them was really nice, and one of them was really mean. And unfortunately, it was the mean one. And I was like, it's the dickhead. And they're both like, fuck. And my one friend goes, what do we do? And I was like, all right, let's just stay back here. Keep our heads down. Hopefully he doesn't come to this aisle. Hopefully he's just like here to grab like a bacon, egg, and cheese or something, and then he leaves and like doesn't come to the snack aisle. So let's just stay here. And when he's gone, we'll like come back out. And that's what we did. We like waited in the aisle for like 10 minutes, and like I kept peeking over to see him. And my assumption was correct. He was ordering a breakfast sandwich, and he was just waiting for it. And finally, after like a few minutes, he gets the breakfast sandwich, and he starts heading towards the door. So I look over at my friends, and I'm like, yo, I think we're in the clear, like he's leaving. And after the doors swing open and they close, me and my friends, we come out of hiding. We go back into the aisles. We start looking around again for stuff. And I thought we were in the clear. I thought we were good. I thought he left. We're good to go. And then this motherfucker comes back in through the doors. My history teacher, door swings open. He comes walking back through. He sees all three of us. And he goes, what the heck are you guys doing here? And we didn't really know what to say. And I was just like, just getting lunch. He's like, no. You guys know that you're not supposed to leave school grounds for lunch. Like, what are you guys doing here? And I just said the truth. I was like, we're just getting snacks. And he's like, no, you guys are skipping. That's what you're actually all doing. You're here skipping school and doing who knows what. He's like, come with me. You're coming back to school. And I didn't know what that meant. I don't know if that meant like we had to get in his car. I don't know if that meant he was going to walk us back. And you want to know what this guy did? He gets in his car and he makes us start walking back to the school while he slowly follows us going like 3 miles per hour. He was like holding up traffic, dude. It was not good. Probably a traffic and safety hazard if I had to guess. I don't know why he didn't just have us jump in his SUV and then he could drive us back to the school. It'd be a lot faster. Maybe he just didn't want to be perceived as a weirdo, you know, inviting a bunch of high school kids into his car. Maybe he was just trying to teach us a lesson and make us walk back and, you know, think about what we did. I don't know. It could have been a lot of things. Probably everything combined, right? Anyway, we walk all the way back to school and he follows us all the way to make sure we get there. And this is the funniest part of the story. So as we're walking through the front doors of the school to go back in, he pulled around the back teacher's lot. So we were now out of his sight, right? And as soon as he was out of sight, Andrew looks at both of us and he goes, yo, are y'all down to just like say, fuck this, turn around and run away? And I was like, sure. So we just turned around right there at the school doors, right? We were about to go into the school and we just booked it. We ran across the street as fast as we could and then ran down the street as fast as we possibly could until we were at our homie's house. And when we got into my friend's house, we all just like fell on the ground laughing, dude. It was so funny. Like we couldn't believe what just happened and how it unfolded. And we sat down in his living room My friends started making some pizza rolls, and we were just enjoying the rest of the day after that. We knew we were fucked. That was one thing. We knew that all of our parents were probably being called by the school as we speak, and we knew we were in for a world of just like awful groundings, but we were just going to enjoy the time while we had it, and that's what we did. We made pizza rolls, we played some Xbox, kind of just kicked it at my friend's house while his parents weren't home, and we had a good like 2 or 3 hours of just kicking it. Now, about 2 or 3 hours later, unfortunately, my phone starts to ring, and it's my mom. She had just gotten on break at work, and she checked her phone and saw that my school called her and told her that I was skipping, and then I like ran away, and I knew when I answered that phone, she was not going to be happy. So you know what I did? I declined the call. I sent her to voicemail, which is probably the worst thing I could have done in that moment because I probably just added like days and days onto my sentence of grounding that I was probably going to get later. And after I ignored her call, she texted me and said, "Call me, period." I did not call her. I ignored her text and her call, and I just went back to hanging out with my friends. Now, both of my friends had yet to hear from their parents. Both of their parents were still at work. So, it was just me that was getting spammed by my mom. And my mom just kept trying to call me after this. Like, literally every minute she would try and call me. And then after like the third or fourth attempt at trying to call me and getting ignored, she texted me. And I shit you not, the text read, "You're done." That has to be like top 3 most fear-striking text messages I've ever received. Like from my mom, "You're done." So I knew I was fucked. I knew it was over for me. I knew when I got home later that night, it was going to be, I'm cooked essentially. So some time later, probably like 20 or 30 minutes later, it was time to go home, and I didn't feel like walking, so I left my friend's house conveniently right when school was ending. So I just walked down the street back to school and then just hopped on my bus and got a ride home. So that was really nice. I didn't have to walk like, many miles home. And when I got home, my mom still wasn't home yet from work. So I had quite a bit of time where I could just play some Xbox and enjoy my things while I still had them. So I did. I jumped on Xbox. I played some MW2, played a little bit of some Forza Horizon as well. I had a nice time, right? And then finally, a couple hours later, my mom got home. And she walks in and she makes eye contact with me and she goes, "Hey, you see my calls? You see my texts?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did. I'm sorry." And she goes, No, sorry's not going to cut it. You're screwed." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And she goes, "Turn your Xbox off, turn your phone off, turn everything off, give it to me." It gets worse. She went to the hallway and she took my door. She took the door off my bedroom. I lost my door privileges, so I couldn't sneak out. I couldn't, do anything bad without her seeing. And I think that was the point of her taking my door, obviously. And yeah, your boy got grounded for like fucking a month and a half, 2 months. It was crazy. To be fair, a lot of things were adding up at this point. I was definitely getting in trouble a lot, so I think it was a combination of a lot of things recently that got me grounded, and that's why it was so long. But yeah, it was like 2 months, and the next day when I went back to school, I also got suspended for a day. They brought me into the office. My principal told me I was getting in-school suspension for the day because I skipped the day previously, and so did all my friends. Andrew, my other homie, they were in the in-school suspension room with me, and when I got there that day, I sat down next to them, and I was like, "Yo, what happened to you guys when your parents got home?" And they went on to tell me that they got grounded as well, pretty bad. One of my friends got a month, the other one got a month and a half, and that was pretty close to what I got as well, minus my door being taken. And I told them about that. I was like, "Yo, I lost my door." And my friend's like, "What do you mean you lost your fucking door? She took your door?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, she took my bedroom door." He's like, "Dude, that sucks." And I was like, "I know." And yeah, needless to say, the rest of that month/2 months sucked very hard. And I did not learn my lesson. I almost just said I learned my lesson. I did not learn my lesson. I'm pretty sure I skipped school like literally 20 more times after this. So yeah, definitely didn't learn my lesson. But I should have. And you guys listening, don't be like young Luna. Avoid being like him. He wasn't very well behaved. But yeah, guys, that is the story of how a teacher caught us skipping school. And I thought it was a pretty good one. I thought you guys would enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys all later. Peace.